morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee and Football, presented by Rick Vavro and Austin Underground. I'm your host, Blake Monroe. Well, there's the shades, where I'm joined every morning by
catching up on some last year's reading before the big game, you know.
And Jerry Hamilton, who stuck back in 2024, August 2024, apparently. But tell us where you're checking in from, what you're drinking, get your questions in. And we are 18 days away from kickoff. So tell us who your favorite number 18 is. Actually, 3 18s on the Texas roster. So we'll revisit that here in a little bit. But first, guys, let's start with the big news that came out yesterday. In Texas, as expected, number 1. That's why you got the shades on, Jerry.
Yeah, every day. Look, the Gooders are getting some great ad time on Texas football because I'm wearing them every day. They're ranked number 1, so at least for 18 more days. But college football preseason top 25 came out. We're going to dig into this by conference. First time ever, Texas is number 1 in the AP preseason poll. Also, the first time ever, the number 1 team in the AP poll preseason is an underdog in their first game. So a lot of things going on. There were last night people were asking with Ohio State 3, is it more motivation for Ohio State being 3 and Texas coming in as a 1, or Texas being an underdog going into Ohio State, even though they're ranked ahead of them? It's probably better for Ryan Day, honestly, but in his messaging. But look, I mean, we can get into who we think's overrated, underrated on this list. The overrated initially to me is Miami at 10, and I'm going to keep singing that song until they go beat Notre Dame on August 31st or play it very competitive. But congrats to Texas, Steve Sarkeesian, because while rankings are meaningless for a lot of people, they're not meaningless for a team and a staff and an institution and in recruiting. All this stuff matters. It's more and more and more show of what the programs become under Sark. It does build some hype, but it also Sark's vision, when you start when you're hired to the job, everybody has a vision they're trying to sell to recruits and a fan base. And when your vision starts to become your reality, man, the messaging it's a great place to be able to look back and say, hey, guys that we recruited, we told you this stuff could happen if y'all bought into what we were doing here. And whether Texas ends up 1 or not at the end of the season, this is still big step for Steve Sarkeesian, Bobby, in this program.
It is a big step. It's a acknowledgement step, if that's the right way to put it. Other folks now acknowledging Texas, not just media and coaches, but both alike acknowledging Texas with number 1 ranking. I will say this, though, all of that goes out the window on August 30th. And so I feel like it's great to be ranked number 1 in the preseason, but I think the postseason is what everybody is going for. Sark mentioned that yesterday in his presser. I want to say this, and Jerry, you mentioned Miami too high at 10. The top 9 were the same top 9 that were in the coaches poll.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you, these are the 9 schools people expect one of this group to win a national championship. Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Alabama, or LSU. Those are the odds-on favorites right now. No question about it. So 10 and below, it's kind of like, pick a lottery number and go for it. But the first 9 are expected to be playing in December and January at some level.
The chat normally has all the answers to questions I ask because we got the best chat going. Is this the best opening? I don't call next weekend really the opening weekend. The August 30th, 31st weekend. Is this the best opening weekend we've seen in college football? I mean, you have number 1 playing at number 3. You have number 9 playing at number 4. You have number 6 playing at number 10. And that's a Sunday game. Then also on Sunday, you have Virginia Tech and South Carolina playing in Atlanta. But again, number 13 playing a quality Power 4 program. You have blue bloods playing blue bloods. You have massive brands playing big brands or massive brands. You have some of the very biggest names in college football playing games against high-level competition to begin the season. Is this the best opening weekend we've seen? It's hard, revisionist history maybe. I mean, there may be something back there. that we can point to. But I'm telling you what, when 1 plays at 3 and 9 plays at 4 and 6 plays at 10. Oh, and then your other game is Lenoris Sellers. We're going to see if he becomes Lenoris Newton this year, takes on Virginia Tech and Atlanta. That is a unbelievable first weekend for college football.
I cannot remember when 6 of the top 10 teams play each other in the first weekend.
Yeah.
Now, ESPN needs to go back and look it up. But when 6 of the top 10 play,
it's unbelievable.
That's huge. That's absolutely huge. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Well, any wives, girlfriends in the chat? Do a spa day Saturday.
Hey, August 30th is my birthday, by the way. So
no pressure, Arch. No pressure, Arch. Bobby Burton's birthday.
Don't ruin 56 for me, baby.
Hey, one team I'm not betting on? 18. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we will get to that. I want to actually break these down by conference for a moment, guys. This Fox put this out yesterday. I found this interesting. First off, 10 SEC teams in the top 25. That is an all-time record for the SEC. 6 come from the Big 10, 4 from the Big 12, 3 from the ACC, 1 from the Mountain West, and then 1 independent, of course, being Notre Dame.
Isn't the SEC going to beat up on each other? I mean, is that really going to be the number at the end of the year? I think it's okay to have it at the beginning of the year because you're basically hedging your bets with a couple of lottery tickets, right?
Yeah.
That's what people are doing. They're saying, oh, well, this team could really outperform, so we got to put them in there right now so we don't look bad later. But they'll end up with 7.
Yeah, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I think so because, I mean, look, even if you look at anybody says, oh, well, Texas schedule. Don't go to any of the Texas schedule stuff. You're playing Ohio State, Georgia, at Florida, at Ohio State, right? Oklahoma's neutral. A&M comes here. You're playing 5 of the top 19, 5 of the top 18 or 19 ranked teams. So you don't want to hear the schedule BS. What about Oklahoma's schedule? Again, look at Oklahoma's schedule. How many teams that are ranked do they have on right now on their schedule, guys? I mean, that is a tough schedule when your job's on the line. We'll see. And the other thing I looked at with the ACC is this LSU game is really, really big for Clemson because, look, last year they got in, but they had to rebound and go win the ACC championship game. But they got smoked against Georgia, that opener, and it was ugly. This year against LSU, it's a big game for Clemson because not that they can't make the playoffs if they don't win that game, because what I'm saying they're positive is they have the ACC on their side. But if they lose that LSU game at home, then that's gonna hang with them, I think, in the playoff rankings. So their margin for error actually goes down if they lose that LSU game out of the gate. The way it's going to be looked at.
I agree with you. LSU apparently has some offensive line issues that they're working through right now, is what I was told based on what one of their scrimmages that they had on Saturday. Blake, can you put that back up, that conference?
Yeah, the conference one?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. There you go.
You talked about lottery tickets. Like picking A&M or OU or Ole Miss is a lottery ticket at some level. You just don't know how they're going to be this year. Tennessee, I think, is even a lottery ticket, in my opinion, given they have real issues at quarterback. I still don't understand how they're a top 25 team right now. But I was going to ask you this. What are the other teams that you would buy a lottery ticket on to end up in the top 15, say? Like, I'm thinking of one like Baylor right now for me. With Sawyer Robertson back, with so many starters returning, they would be in that top 15 lottery ticket. Now, I'm not saying they're going to end up there.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech would be one for me.
Mm-hmm.
The part of the problem.
Georgia Tech is one for me.
Who else?
Georgia Tech is one for me because not only is Haynes King a perfect fit for what they do, I think the running back, Jamal Haynes, is one of the best in the country. I think he's a stud that's not talked about enough.
Yep. USC would be a lottery ticket if Lincoln Riley can actually get things turned around and that defense finally starts playing better under D'Anton Lynn. But those are the three lottery tickets that people didn't take.
Yeah.
Not what I would say that's interesting about that is it's supposed to be the big two, the SEC and the Big Ten, right? It's clear that the writers took more lottery tickets in the SEC than they did the Big Ten. Like Iowa's not on here. Rutgers ain't on here. Nebraska's not on here.
Nebraska's got a great schedule, by the way.
I could have made an argument for Nebraska.
Yeah.
But the point being, people took more of that SEC caliber stuff and went with that than they did the other possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Bobby, before we move on, I'm going to let you tell everyone this morning about Rick Bobrow and Austin Underground.
Yeah, absolutely. Since 2004, Rick and his team at Austin Underground have specialized in difficult underground commercial installations. The team's engineering background gives Austin Underground the ability to perform work other firms often consider too risky. You guys see all the building going on downtown, all the cranes, et cetera, underneath. Somebody has to do all that work to get everything going. Rick and his team offer end-to-end client experience, including seamless communication, budgeting, staffing, and top-notch trade partners. And most importantly, they produce solid quality work each and every time. That is Austin Underground.
Okay, let's see here. Next, Sark, of course, met with the media yesterday. We haven't even really got to touch on it yet. And here we are 10 minutes in the show having a lot of fun discussing the top 25. So let's talk about that for a moment. And he had a lot to say, but I wanted to actually rewind to what he had to say when it came to the scrimmage this past weekend. Now, we put out a lot of notes over on ontexasfootball.com, but he went in depth on the scrimmage, and I'm going to play you this 2-minute clip.
The scrimmage, I thought, the first three drives, we were going 1s, 2s, 3s in the scrimmage, which was a little bit different format than we've used in the past. Historically, we've gone 1s and 2s. And then when they're done, the 3s go, and then we go 1s and 2s, and then the 3s go. We were going 1s, 2s, 3s. Defensively, all three groups, 1s, 2s, 3s, came out and had a really good first drive. The second drive, the first offense, the second offense, and the third offense all had really good drives inside the 5, and then they didn't finish those drives. And so that was a great stand by the defense to hold them there. Then we went to the next phase of the scrimmage, which was red zone lockout, and I thought the offense performed really well and won that period. We came back after halftime and did a coming out period, and the second defense had a nice series. The first defense struggled a little, and then the third offense had a 99-yard drive. It's a hell of a drive. And then we did a 2-minute drill, and both the first offense and the second offense drove down and kicked game-winning field goal. So I like the balance. I like the competitiveness of the scrimmage. I like the physicality of the scrimmage. We're playing really physical football on both sides of the ball. As naturally, in a first scrimmage, it's always going to be a little bit sloppy. Pre-snap penalties, things like that. We definitely had to clean up from an offensive perspective. I love the way we tackled in the first scrimmage. I think we had, the defenses coaches will tell you we had 15 missed tackles, but there were no really egregious missed tackles. A lot of them were in the line of scrimmage. So I thought we tackled well, which was encouraging. At the end of the day, I thought we punted the ball really well. We got off to a little slow start kicking game, but I think Mason really stepped up and feel very confident in what he can do. And he made a couple really big kicks for us there at the end. And then obviously we know we have Will, kicking off for us. So I think we're in good shape from a specialty standpoint that way.
There you go. In his own words.
I want to start with this because I think it's important. Let's just take special teams and then go backwards. The punt game, I sound like a broken record, and I apologize for that, but it is going to be categorically different this year. Categorically. I mean, and I said this 2 weeks ago when we first saw him, Jerry, if we gave the punt unit last year a D minus, in my opinion, that's what they deserved. Okay. Had a key block. A&M had a key block against them they averaged only 40 yards a boot, all these things. The very first practice, we saw what Jack Boomeister could do. That is going to be a team strength, is my guess.
Yep.
It's gonna go from a D- last year to an A- at worst. If it's worse than an A-, something really, really wrong happened. I'll just put it that. That's how much of a difference it's going to make. Mason Shipley coming on is what we thought was going to happen. Will Stone at one point went 0 for 3 during practice, I'm told, during that scrimmage. So he's just not a field goal kicker. Good kickoff guy, but probably just not a good field goal kicker. My thought process here is if Texas can overall, and I talked to Brian Irwin about this about 2 weeks ago, Texas needs to up its game to be a national championship contender on special teams. Georgia won the SEC championship in part because of what? Special teams. Texas was its match on that day in every way, shape, or form except for special teams. So I wanted to start with that because Sark ended with it, and I feel like we can't emphasize enough how fundamentally different those two units should be this year. I mean, Texas, missed 9 field goals last year? Is that right? 5 in the last 3 weeks. I mean, just something ridiculous. And then did not, other than Silas Bolden returning punts, did not really do well on kick return, and certainly didn't maximize the punt game. So if anything changes and makes this more of a national championship caliber team, I think it's going to be special teams.
Let's follow. Here's a good follow-up because we're talking special teams. Justin Rosenthal, who's been returning punts and kicks so far? Who do you think will start? Punt returns. DeAndre Moore was 1. Ryan Niblett was 2. Kickoff return was Trey Wisner, and who was the other, Bobby?
Niblett was 2. So Trey Wisner was primary. Yeah, there's always a primary and then an up back of sorts that kind of takes the one that takes the ones in the middle is the primary, and the left flank was Ryan Niblett. He would then go block. So Wisner and Niblett were the 2 on kicks, is what we were told.
Right
now they could still be trying folks out.
Right,
but that's where it's at right now. As far as the offense versus defense, somebody asked, does this mean Sark made it sound like the offense did better than some people thought? There's some element to that. Again, it's a zero-sum game, but Sark also went on to say in that press conference, I think it was a little bit later, where he talked about errant snaps. He talked about he was not happy with motion penalties, pre-snap penalties. And so I think that what Sark is describing there is a competitive team, but one that has a lot of cleanup to do, whether that's in pass protection, not missing assignments, just early issues that you're going to deal with in just about any team.
Yeah. The other things he went on to say, for those that haven't seen clips, he talked about Ty Anthony Smith having a great camp. Second time he's mentioned him in a different way. Said budding star at SEC Media Days. We heard Ty Anthony Smith may have played more snaps on defense than anybody in that scrimmage, so they're clearly getting him ready. Murad Watson was mentioned again on the defensive line. Derek Williams, who we'd reported on, had a really good scrimmage Saturday. A really good sign for Texas coming off the ACL for Derek Williams. And we kind of talked about this last night, Bobby. I think Derek Williams' return and Jelani McDonald's continued growth is what has allowed Kenodo Hudson to have Michael Taff working at nickel right now. I mean, that can't happen without Derek Williams and Jelani McDonald doing what they're doing. So I think that's a key thing to kind of know there. And I think Taff will play both this year. But the return of Derek Williams to the level he is, and Jelani McDonald's continued growth has allowed Akina, Kenodo, Mark Orfe, PK to use Michael Taff at nickel some.
Blake, why don't we bring up the defensive depth chart while we're doing this?
It's
talking about
good.
that because I think it's important, so people understand what Jerry's talking about exactly.
This is a projected depth chart. Things change, right? I mean, Texas has, like, Murad Watson may start the opener, and he may start it at nose tackle. I mean, they started the second half with him and Alex January, the scrimmage. So this is not set in stone. That's the first thing I want to let people know. But this is just kind of a projected right now headed in the scrimmage too.
I mean, just the secondary alone, which is what I was just talking about, is where Jerry was discussing. If Taft sticks at nickel, okay, and that allows Derek Williams and Jelani McDonald on the field at the same time. A couple other notes here. We put backup Grayson Littleton at nickel as of right now. I want to add this. Wardell Mack is making that. I mean, he is a promising young player too.
Yes.
There are a number of promising young players that and Jonah Williams is nowhere on this list. Zealous Hicks is nowhere on this list in the secondary. Cade Phillips, not on this list. Okay. So understand that I think that of all of these positions, I think the front seven, Jerry, front six, as you would describe it right now, is pretty well situated, even though you might have some moves up and down or combinations. I think it's the back end that we're really talking about with the Texas two deep and on the defense. One other thing I want to mention for you guys too, that I think is, somewhat intriguing. I had an article on TexasFootball.com this morning. Alex January and Murad Watson were both mentioned by Sark yesterday.
Yep.
And I was told late last week, if y'all remember this, I mentioned Watson and January they were punching above their weight early in camp. And I could see them being the starters. At the same time, Jerry, I could see Texas keeping a real run stopper alongside them and doing a tag team rotation of January, Brevard, Shaw, and Watson as comps. Even though maybe January and Watson, from a productivity standpoint, may be ahead of that group right now. So we'll see where it all ends up.
And Trey Moore on there can do a lot of different things. So he's almost hard to put in a position at times on a depth chart because he's going to move around. He's going to do a lot of different things.
Yep. We got some super. Bobby says no to oatmeal cream pie and coffee. We got
Bobby,
some.
You should do it tomorrow. Tony Hills would not be expecting it. He would laugh so hard if you had an oatmeal cream pie instead of me tomorrow. Jenny, make it happen, please.
Get the Amazon drone to deliver you on. We got some questions regarding practice and the camp and scrimmage and all that good stuff. Jesse, for example, with the super chat. Thank you, Jesse. How do you think this offense compares to past camps? Do you think they take a step back?
Let's look at the offense while we got this up. I think it's a good question, Jesse. Appreciate it. If you can take that the super chat down so you can see the whole thing. Jerry, the question when we were talking about this, the question right now is whether it's Emmett Mosley, the fifth, or Parker Livingstone at the Z position.
A lot of that's going to be Mosley's health.
Yes, and I completely agree. So if you look at it that way, okay, everything else I feel like is getting set in stone right now.
Yeah,
like it's about Cole Hudson snapping better and get going. It's about DJ Campbell's health. It's about Brandon Baker solidifying everything. Jack Indries has won that job as the number one guy, even though Spencer Shannon in 12 personnel will start alongside him.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a pretty set in stone. Now it's about, and I think this is important. They've got 2.5 weeks?
Yes.
Yeah. To solidify and become a better unit, especially the ones.
Yeah. And by the way, at tight end, I want to say this at tight end. It's gone from what is tight end going to look like to extremely deep position for Texas. Jordan Washington's going to play and have a role. I think Nick Townsend, because of his speed and athleticism, is going to play and have some designated plays for him, Bobby. That tight end position has a lot of depth to it, even with the injury to Emery Winston. But I totally agree with you. I think, one of the things that affects things like this is our projected is health of players. Emmett Mosley did not go in the tackling portion of the scrimmage Saturday. So Parker Livingstone, we should probably have. If there was oars, we're not the oars people. Okay, I'm not doing that crap. But Parker Livingstone could easily be the starter if Emmett Mosley misses practice time. So we're not saying anything like that. But this is a pretty good look at headed into scrimmage 2 this weekend. I think where things are stand.
And scrimmage 2 is this weekend. That's important.
Yeah.
Because if we will learn, I think.
Well,
and
Bobby needs some time to think about what he was
Bobby's going to think that one over, Jerry. So I'm going to ask you a super chat while he thinks.
I think he's back. I think Bobby's back.
What do we need time to learn, Bobby?
Nah, he froze.
Froze again?
Yeah.
Yep. The Wi-Fi here. God. All right. Go ahead, Blake. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. We had a couple more super chats regarding camp and a couple players I wanted to go ahead and get out of the way. Brandon Morgan, for example, says, "Good morning, guys. As always, thanks for the great content. Can you give an update on Hero Canoe? I haven't heard anything about him in camp."
Made some plays Saturday from what one person told me that really focused on D-line. I think he's having a solid fall camp, Bobby, but just because you're 5th or Lavon Johnson 6th right now, or even Josiah Sharma or Myron Charles doesn't mean you're not performing. I think that's just the depth of D-line, but Hero Canoe's done some good things in fall camp.
I've heard he's in that 5th, 6th range with Lavon Johnson. As far as overall performance. Now, Texas plans to rotate 6 at defensive tackle. That's the current. They want to do as somebody described it on Saturday to me, it's a hockey-like rotation. They bring them in waves. So we will see what happens as it relates to that. But I think that Canoe, if you were grading them right now, probably be 5th or 6th.
All right, and then let's do one other super chat, and then we'll jump over to our next subject. Jerry's Jack Links, thank you for yours, says, lots of firsts this year. First time preseason AP number 1. First time Arch wins the Heisman. First time Texas goes between the hedges and stomps Georgia. First time Colin Simmons goes 1 overall.
Not yet.
That
pretty much covers hype season right there.
Yeah, it's hype season, baby.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Colin Simmons goes 1 overall, not this coming year.
Not yet, not this year.
Whoever goes number 1 in 27 draft, that's one hell of a feat because that's going to be one of the best drafts in recent memory.
Oh, Arch and Lagway?
Well, Jeremiah Smith, Dylan.
Jeremiah Smith, yeah.
Ryan Williams. I mean, this freshman class in college football is pretty. Cam Coleman. This freshman class in college football is pretty special. Getting into top 10 in that draft is going to be extraordinarily difficult. And the offensive tackle, Jordan Seaton at Colorado, is a beast. I mean, this draft that freshman class is unbelievably strong.
Got to ask. Is it possible you would ever take a wide receiver? Because as good as Ryan Williams is, I'm not taking him over Jeremiah Smith. As good as Cam Coleman or Ryan Wingo is, and I think they're all first-round level talent, I'm not taking any of them over Jeremiah Smith. Is Jeremiah Smith the one guy that could, break the rules and become a number 1 overall pick? And not over Arch or Lagway, I don't think. That would be my take on that. I think
we'll see. What I don't have Lagway in that category. I get where you're going with it, but I think it's up to Arch or QB. They're going to have to be, and I know quarterbacks go high, but I think Colin Simmons and Dylan Stewart are going to push the quarterbacks in this draft in a big way.
Hey, Jerry Lagway, just ask you about this. Compare him to CJ Stroud for me, if you don't mind. Because that's who he reminds me of. He's a better athlete. Stroud's a better athlete than you give him credit for. Yeah. But he really just has a gun.
Yeah.
You know,
the thing that scares me with Lagway is if you talk to people that cover Florida, and we both know people, there's some talk that he should have probably had surgery coming out of high school on a shoulder, but delayed that. And what is he doing to that shoulder by not? I mean, he's an unbelievable kid. I went to see him at Willis, seen him multiple times. But you're just like, man, I'm not sure I've heard a young quarterback that had a pitch count like this. Like, that's just not normal. So as a talent, yeah, he's there. But that concerns me a little for him. And I hope everything ends up perfectly fine for him. But that's a little concerning to me. By the way, Lenoir Sellers who's draft eligible this year, I don't see that. He could also be in 27. Where does he go as a player?
We got a super chat for you.
Speaking of, by the way, some people were saying I call Lenoir Sellers. I jokingly started calling him Lenoris Newton at SEC Media Days because when he walks by you, it's a different frame as a quarterback. He's not as tall as Newton, but this dude's 6'3", 240, and I mean, if he's 4% body fat, I'd be shocked, right? He
wears it well.
So I just and just kind of he has that Superman capability a little bit, I think, with the size, with his size strength. But look, if that guy stays 2 years and keeps improving, he may be in that conversation. Who knows? I mean, but that 27 draft is seriously talented.
Lenoir Sellers needs a partner in crime.
Yeah. That's my concern for him.
Like Rocket Sanders last year was his partner in crime. Yeah. Is Nicholas Harbor, that receiver, a partner in crime? He's too up and down, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's
the concern. Can they put the pieces around him for him to get where he could actually go as a player?
To take some focus off of him, just a little bit. You know, that's all. Realistically, that's all Vince needed.
Yeah.
You know, he needed some guys to take a little something off of him. Anyways.
By the way, the SEC show on Netflix, it was, for those that haven't watched that yet, I would say, one, it's worth a watch just as a college football fan. But Shane Beamer, the recruitment of Lenoir Sellers was interesting to hear him. You know, he was like, he came to our camp. He didn't have the offers that a lot of the other guys did. He said, but when I watched him, even in a camp setting, it was clear he was the best quarterback over all the guys that were rated higher that were at the same camp. It's kind of interesting not surprising. He was once committed to Virginia. Then he had some injury issues in high school, and I think some things tapered off for him. But it was interesting to hear Shane Beamer. Boy, Shane Beamer is awfully high on him. I'll tell you that, as a player.
Should be.
Yeah.
He's their offense at this point.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we need to thank some sponsors before we move on here. And the next topic we're going to talk about is one the chat's been fired up to talk about. But first, I need you to tell us about Gooder this morning, Jerry Hamilton.
Oh, yeah, I can. Do I have Gooders? Do I need to put them on? I think I should, right? Why Gooders? Well, when you're ranked number one in America, that's why Gooders to start. But they're stylish Sunday, starting only $25 a pair. 1 year free warranty. I have to read it. 30-day free returns. You don't need that. I have to read it. Lightweight and comfortable. 100% polarized. No slip, no bounce. Even when you're I cycled 18 miles this weekend. One day, 17 the other. No bounce, no slip. With these Gooders, they're perfect for a lot of things. On a run, playing pickleball, playing tennis, on a hike, going to the beach, driving in the Texas heat, riding your bike for a few miles, golf course. whatever you want to do, because they're so affordable. You don't have to worry about losing or breaking them. You can have a pair for every single occasion. Those Texas Gooders look awfully good walking around Bevo Boulevard before the Horns take the field, especially if you're waiting on that team bus in the Texas heat. Wearing those Texas Gooders. I see a lot of them there on Bevo Boulevard. If you need a new pair of sunnies, Gooders giving On Texas football listeners free shipping. Can't go wrong. You can go to gooder.com/OnTexas, all caps, and use that code On Texas, all caps, for free shipping. Gooder offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. Won't need it, and 1,000% satisfaction. Again, that's gooder.com/OnTexas, all caps. Use it for free shipping.
And next up, Bobby, I need you to let everyone know about Duck Camp.
Yeah, Duck Camp gear is made for the people that live for the moments out there. This is one of my Duck Camp hats that I love. It's the pointer hat. Where there are fish to catch, birds to hunt, time to kill, football to watch. They like doing all that stuff, so they built a company centered on it, based in Austin, and dedicated to giving people best-in-class hunting and fishing apparel. Duck Camp gear has been tested from the backcountry of Alaska to the dove fields of Texas. It's also ready to keep you cool and comfortable on these scorcher game days. It will stand up to the toughest conditions, but also happily sit down beside a fire and drink a few cold ones. If that's more your speed, make sure you check out their new sun protection shirts that keep you cool, dry, and comfy. Their iconic game series hats, like I'm wearing here. Shop hunting and fishing gear at duckcamp.com today. Again, duckcamp.com. It is a tremendous brand. I've been wearing it now for over a year, and I love it. It keeps me cool, even in the hot summer days.
Hey, before we get to the next thing, Sarah McCoy has a very important question.
Oh, gosh.
What the most popular size battery for Ohio State fans to throw? AAA, AA, C, 9V, or D? As long as it's not a car battery,
That would be impressive.
I mean, that would be impressive.
That would be very impressive.
Sarah, that's an important question. What do we think in the chat there?
Which are the square ones? Is that D?
9-volt square.
9 volts is a square. Those would carry the best.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever thrown batteries at a football game, but
Speaking from experience, I can tell.
no, I'm not. I'm not. But you would think those would be the best ones to throw.
Yeah.
Any
chance Texas Tech fans start putting batteries in a tortilla and rolling the tortilla and throwing it? Tech fans,
they're already.
I got ideas.
Gosh. All right. Well, I bet that the chat is ready to talk about this next topic here. And that's John Mateer in the headlines for all the wrong reasons, fellas. Bobby, I'm going to let you start.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to start with Jerry?
No, I'm going straight.
Yeah, Jerry would rip it. Look, if you missed the brouhaha yesterday, a reporter from Deadspin unearthed a Venmo account linked to John Mateer. That Venmo account included the following. While he was a member at Washington State, he played in this season. Sports gambling, he paid to his teammate, Richard Roten, allegedly. John Mateer paid Richard Roten, his teammate. Sports gambling, UCLA versus USC. I believe the UCLA-USC game was on November 19th of that year. Oh, the 19th or 18th. Okay. A couple days later, gambling for FIFA World Cup. And apparently John Mateer won that one because Roten paid him. My point being here, and I know that he's already issued a response to this. I found it very interesting that within 30 minutes of this becoming public, Mateer immediately deleted his Venmo account. You don't do that if you have something to hide. Yeah, that's today now. So it went from yesterday where it was open to today. I'm just, what's going to happen here? I don't know if the NCAA, well, Blake, hold on a second. I mean, is this NCAA new enforcement arm going to be realistic, or is it just going to sweep things under the rug? I don't know. Like, I want to say this for John Mateer. historically, a guy like Hunter Dekkers, the Iowa State quarterback, got banished from college football for doing something like this. Correct? I mean, literally, starting quarterback Iowa State gone. I don't know that sort of thing, if it's not your team, deserves, to be gone from your team forever. So I want to put that out there for Mateer. Is it unwise? Is it stupid? I think it's one of those two things. It's at the very least unwise, and it's possibly extraordinarily stupid. But should that guy lose all of his future because, I don't know, what was the number? It didn't show a dollar figure.
It didn't show a number.
Yeah, but my point being, I'm not there on this right now. So my take on all of it is, let's see what happens. I'm more interested in, at this point, what the NCAA and this new enforcement arm for rules and regulations does about it. If they just remain silent, we're going to have the same old feckless NCAA, in my opinion. If they don't at least investigate, they're nuts. And we're just, again, it's a farce. That's my concern about John Mateer, beyond him being, I don't know, probably just dumb.
My thing is, every college football player should take the Lawnmower 5.0 to their Venmos right now. Get rid of them. Gone. And I don't know what's true or not, but man, if somebody was that, I don't know. I don't know if dumb's the word. I don't even know. But do you trust him to read Georgia's defense with everything on the line?
I don't know. Football playing people are look.
I don't know.
I wouldn't.
It's bad decisions making is bad decision making. It normally carries over to low completion percentage and interceptions and bad times.
Okay. I don't necessarily agree. I'm one of those guys that I don't believe the Wonderlic test is a fair assessment of a guy and his ability to play quarterback. It's two different skill sets.
Yeah.
All right. You can disagree, but I'm a firm believer that I've seen too many really smart football players not make a 700 on the SAT.
Yeah.
They are different categories for me, Jerry. Period. Yeah. I mean, it's a different. Some people intuitively understand sports, and some people have no clue how to write a paragraph. They're just. I've been doing this too long. But like I said, I think he's just dumb for doing what he did. Doesn't mean he's gonna be dumb when he's playing Georgia. So I don't think that translates.
Apparently, OU, from what I'm seeing on social media, is expected to possibly release a statement later today. It does say Mateer has made it clear to the school that he has never gambled.
Ooh. And
so, he's saying that, I guess basically saying I just put something stupid in the description, like a whole lot of people do on Venmo, just for the heck of it, which obviously the optics don't look the best, but what can you do? So wait and see, I guess. Wait and see.
Now, that is a different story. If he's saying he did that just to joke around, that's worse. That's really dumb.
Now, he hasn't said that. He's just saying that he made it clear that he has never gambled on sports.
That would be worse than dumb. That would like break into that'd be like the guy that breaks into jail,
So
some of this is just kids these days, I think, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. This whole thing will come down to, does the NCAA look into it?
Yes.
And by the way, the one thing, look, everybody said, well, the NCAA can't. Nobody ever got put on purpose. The NCAA didn't have subpoena power back in the day. So that's one thing. But gambling is something totally different. That they take gambling extremely, as they should, extremely serious.
It's the sanctity of the game.
So, they're always looking into things. So that's what this if there's anything there, if it starts getting looked into by the NCAA, it's going to have some legs of some sort.
That is the ultra sports gambling, by the way, that was listed on the FIFA account is a real gambling outfit, offshore.
Yeah.
So, look, I mean, I don't know what to tell y'all other than I hope that every Texas player is not involved. They need to go look at their own Venmo accounts and make sure. And Texas, I wrote down 2 things yesterday. The first thing I would do is, make sure that no Texas player has anything like that and that has anything involved with gambling. Mateer also has numerous comments later that talk about poker, okay, on his Venmo account, or he had those yesterday. So for him to say he never gambled when he also has like 3 or 4 other mentions of poker later in the year, I don't know what to tell you. That's gambling too, although it's not about football. It comes back to what Jerry and I just talked about. Is the NCAA going to actually have an enforcement arm, or is it just more a farce again?
Hey, Matthew has a question. This is good just because of the conversation, because I guarantee you this is going to come up with other players in the future. This is not going away. Can they not gamble on other sports? So, look, to my understanding, you and your buddies can make a bet, whatever. It's the sports books. All those are the offshore accounts. It's all that stuff, I think, is where guys get in trouble. Right, Bobby? I mean, betting.
No, you can't gamble amongst yourselves either. The only thing you can do where you don't get in trouble is it's something like a Super Bowl pot where you're filling in squares and it's completely randomized. You know what I mean? Where you buy 5 squares for $10 and the winner gets the score. But I want to add this to what Jerry's mentioning there. I would say that gambling on other sports in college football is just ridiculous. And the reason why I say that is, what if your next door neighbor is the point guard?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you're the quarterback. You think y'all couldn't, conspire at some level? I mean, I just don't agree with gambling in college sports at all for college athletes. I think, or pro athletes for that matter.
Yep. All right. Well, let's.
And by the way, and certainly not for refs, umpires, which we've seen in the past is not. I mean, it's that is an issue. So, Mateer is not the first. I'll just put it that way. Nor will he be the last.
Well, let's move on this morning here. We got a lot more to talk about. So let's jump into some of these other conversations. And this goes back, let me get it here, when we were talking about the top 25. And the super chat from Fatherhorn says, who in the top 9 would y'all pick to underwhelm this year if you had to pick one? And notice he said 9. So, Jerry, you can't go to Miami automatically.
I mean, I think it's going to be number 5 or number 9. I think Georgia or LSU.
Yeah. I'm going to say 7. Georgia and Oregon. I just want to see if Georgia, the question mark is their quarterback, man.
And OL. They lost 4 OL starters with it.
But he recruits people. I mean, that's like saying Texas's OL isn't, I think Oregon with a new quarterback, new parts around him. Is he going to be as good? He showed some talent at UCLA as a freshman, but didn't necessarily overwhelm, in my opinion. I would say Georgia and Oregon. Jerry, you went Georgia and LSU?
Yeah. I think, look, if LSU loses the Clemson game, that's going to be interesting because I think the fan base is going to get so unruly with Brian Kelly that his team's going to have to really be a tight-knit group.
Yeah, hyper-focused.
Yeah, because things can get really ugly in LSU when it gets ugly. It's a different type of ugly. Though anybody that's driven through that state, like I do many times, and you just turn it on the sports radio to listen to LSU talk. If you ever want to see what it's real like, just turn into a sports radio show after LSU loses, like a call-in show or something. It's wild.
The only comparison that I've ever had in my life is driving in Boston.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
The Boston Red Sox lose.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I mean, they're like, at the time, they were like 15 or 20 games above 500, and they were ready to fire the manager because he didn't pull. I mean, it was Boston fans.
And Georgia, the thing with Georgia to me is, and I know they recruit at a very high level, obviously, but they lost quarterback who did not have a good year, by the way. Congrats on your transfer, Miami. They lost quarterback. Yeah, and I think Nate Frazier's a stud at running back, but they lost ETN. They lost 4 starting offensive linemen, all drafted, by the way. They didn't just lose guys. They lost all guys that got drafted. But then defensively, yeah, they got really good players there. But they lost their top 5 of their top 6 on the D-line, all the way up down that D-line. And then they lose Jalen Walker, who's a great player. Malachi Stark's arguably as good as any safety in the country. Dan Jackson, his counterpart at safety, was starting corner. I mean, I know they have KJ Bolden. I know they have some really good players, but they lost some impactful guys on defense. And their schedule's a little – it will show this year if they're going to have any question marks. I mean, they're not what they were in 2021 or 2022 on defense to me. So we'll see. I just think it's all happening at the same time for them, so they're going to have to overcome. I think there's going to be more pressure on the Georgia offense than ever before this year. I could be wrong. They recruit a lot of talented players, man, but they lost some true difference makers.
We got more super chats to get to, a little bit more conversation. But first, Bobby, something that might stir the conversation is the OTF store has been updated, man. New merchandise. Check this out.
Yeah, we got new gear for the new year. Different hats coming out. I'm wearing the trucker hat right now. I love it, man. New coffee mugs as well that say coffee and football on them. This year we got a rope hat. Our guy that Jeff Clark over at 40 Acres suggested the rope hat. The hat there, the orangish one, not the burnt orange, but the orange hat there also has On Texas Football lettering on the back. You guys can go to shop.ontexasfootball.com. That's shop.ontexasfootball.com to check out all the new gear. It's live now, or you can use that QR code there in the middle, and that should take you directly to our store as well. Again, I hope you guys enjoy it. Look forward to seeing you guys wearing some OTF gear out there this year.
That's right. And another thing that I wanted to bring up real quick before we get to some more super chats is the OTF and Third and Longhorn tour, Bobby. I was hoping you could tell folks about that.
Yeah, we're very excited about this. Jerry and I talked about it yesterday. We're going on tour a little bit, going out to see fans. If you want to come out and hang out, not just with us. Being with me and Jerry is kind of boring, to be honest. But guys.
Not after midnight, baby.
Guys like Derek Johnson, Fozzie Whitaker. I will say this. This is Jerry before he has a beer in him. Imagine Jerry after he has a beer in him. I'm just going to put that out there. But anyways, long story short, Schultz Beer Garden in Austin on the 19th. Houston Social Beer Garden, which is in Midtown, I believe, and Houston. And then Happiest Hour. That is in conjunction, by the way, with the Dallas, Texas X's. They have a big get together there. Jerry's going to be on the opposite side of the Metroplex that day in Fort Worth for their Texas X's event. But all you need to do is RSVP. The events are free. I want to be clear about that. The events are free, but you do need VIP tickets if you want to get signed autograph and memorabilia, that sort of thing. Just go to thirdandlonghorn.com. Again, it's free. Come out and hang out with us, guys. Let's have a little Longhorn football talk. Third and Longhorn, as well as ourselves, are going to be taping shows during the time, and then we're going to be hanging out with everybody and shooting the breeze.
All right. normally wouldn't just skip down to this, but it's something I wanted to touch on recruiting. We just haven't been able to get to it today because we've had such a loaded show with all kinds of crazy topics. Longhorn Frenzy 1 with Super Chat. Thank you as always. Jerry, has anything changed since your last OTF post on Krell trending to Oklahoma?
It has not, but I haven't asked Mateer for his odds yet, so maybe I should. No, I don't think so. I think unless things change here in the next few hours, it's trending Oklahoma.
People want to know why, Jared. They don't want to just know is anything changed. They want to know why. And I used the term prioritization yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the bottom line. I mean, I look, Texas is going to need all the bait in the tackle box they have to get a big-time defensive end, and you can't just get them all.
No.
And OU stepped up a little bit, and Texas just didn't want to go to that level.
Yeah, and I think Texas will continue to make a run at Trenton Henderson to see what happens with him at LSU.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get
No. I think we're living rent free. Yeah, Florida got Davion Gross last night. I think for Texas, Malachi Lee is one of those priority guys at the offensive tackle. You look at defensive back, I think they stay on the Devon Benjamin, right? And some of those guys, same guys, the Texas, they stay on those top targets. They'll probably stay in contact with some others. There'll be some other guys pop up as well. Grayson Littleton wasn't on the radar this time a year ago. But I think right now you're going to see Texas really the all-in guys, Malachi Lee, a couple of other guys positionally. Need a third linebacker in this class as well.
All right, our next Super Chat this morning comes. Sorry, there's a lot of them, and they're kind of everywhere. I'm trying to make sure we haven't skipped any. Is going to be from Burt Reynolds Jr. Thank you, Burt. Do you think the linebacker pairs are Hill Smith and Moore LaFau?
I think it's interchangeable. Like, I think Smith plays – I think Smith and LaFau could be a factor in snaps. Counts as well, Bobby. I think they moved Ty Anthony Smith around a little bit on Saturday from what we were told. And Trey Moore is going to do a number of different things. I could see Smith and LaFau competing for snaps.
Do you realize the type of intestinal fortitude it takes to move a guy? How many sacks did Trey Moore have last year in the last 6 or 7 games of the year?
Yeah.
Because he didn't have a sack until game 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And then he comes – you realize what kind of intestinal fortitude or belief in the other guys on the roster to take somebody like Trey Moore off the line of scrimmage and move him to linebacker? I still think they're going to use him and Ty Anthony Smith in pass rush scenarios at certain times. Like, what did he end up the year with?
5.5 sacks, and those are over the last 7 games.
And they took him out.
Yeah.
They moved a guy that had 5.5 sacks in the last 7 games and said, oh, well, we're going to move you. That's unheard of. That's how deep Texas may be right now and how elite they may be at edge. That's freaky. So back to your question, though, at linebacker. LaFau and Hill are the starters. Moore is playing in kind of this hybrid role that is not just a true linebacker. I mean, he's getting looks in like a 3-3-5 look, to be honest, what I'm hearing. So we'll see. Backups are Ty Anthony Smith, though, for sure. And then we'll see what Bo Barnes is able to do.
And I'm just going to keep ringing this bell. Sark called Ty Anthony Smith a budding star at SEC Media Days. And again, he just said yesterday he's had a great camp. So when Sark sends those messages, the one thing I've learned is that they're very meaningful.
Listen, because he could end up taking starter snaps.
Yeah.
In certain situations away from somebody like Leonga LaFau, who's been a little bit of a heartbeat of the team, according to Sark. We'll see.
All right, our next super chat this morning, and I want to bring up the tweet that accompanies it, comes from Devon. I'm sorry, Devon, I meant to bring this up earlier and nearly skipped it. Devon says, I saw the conversation on Twitter between you and CJ, Bobby. Who can you see outside of Wingo being an explosive player? Now, for those that missed the tweet, CJ tweeted, the single thing I'm most excited for in 25 is the return of explosive plays from the Texas offense. I'm talking 50-plus yard gains and scores. The Ewers offense was single after single after single, which did well, but I'm expecting the Arch offense to be filled with home runs. And then, Bobby, you came in and asked, well, who is going to be that explosive player? And Devon obviously asking the same thing outside of Wingo.
Well, here's the point to that. It was single after single with yours, but he had home run hitters. I mean, Jaden Blue, by definition, is a home run hitter. Correct? I mean, that was his special skill set as a running back. It wasn't necessarily between the tackles. It was give him a crease and he goes 70 against Clemson. Right? Matthew Golden was a little bit of both. Isaiah Bond was a big play waiting to happen last year when he was healthy. And so this year, if I'm looking at the Texas offense, I'm wondering, Blake and Jerry, who takes that reign? Is Ryan Wingo ready to be that guy? At running back, I don't know that anybody can replace that speed of Jaden Blue, that suddenness of Jaden Blue. So while I agree with CJ that I think there will be a lot of big plays, I don't know who's going to be the big playmaker. Ryan Wingo would be the favorite right now in that category.
I think DeAndre Moore very much isn't. I think DeAndre Moore, I think he was last year, but I think he's going to be much more so this year. You know, look, DeAndre Moore was a slant against Georgia, made somebody miss and went 41 for a touchdown against Georgia. He had the 50-yarder against Mississippi State on the double move, I think. I think because DeAndre Moore has that kind of the sneaky speed that people are, because he's just so smooth and he's such a good route runner. I think DeAndre Moore is going to be a big play guy. But here's the thing last year, though. Isaiah Bond got hurt.
I know.
That's the thing. Isaiah Bond was a big time, one of the fastest players ball in hand in college football last year to me. I mean, just look at the play against UTSA. He made those guys look like they were running 5.3. But he was hurt half the year. But I think Texas has got more of that at the receiver position than we think they have. And I think it's going to show this year. Now, the question is going to be, how does it show up? I think it's going to show up more so on this Texas team in downfield route running versus catching short and making people miss, right? I think that's the thing. It's a difference. I mean, look, Emmett Mosley had a 62-yarder against Louisville last year. He had 13 for 168 against the ranked Louisville team on a bad Stanford team. I mean, he had some big plays last year himself. So you put those guys in him in year 2 of college football, DeAndre Moore in year 3 of college football, with a quarterback that likes to press it down the field and the head coach that wants to throw it vertically. I think you're going to see more big plays from the wideouts than we're anticipating this year.
Look at that. Number 1 quarterback taken in the draft, Miami, you would expect to be on that list of big plays, especially with how well Cam Ward could operate and buy time in the pocket, and make those secondary or third read throws down the field. You wouldn't expect Texas, but that's Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkeesian, 1 and 3, trying to dial it up. Not surprising in that regard, in my opinion. Baylor's sneaky now with Sawyer Robertson. I'm telling you,
they lost their second team running back for the year yesterday.
Did they really?
Yeah. Dawson Pendergrass. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But my point on this, I mean, who is the big playmaker going to be? I don't want to leave out Parker Livingstone. Somebody just texted me, don't forget about Parker Livingstone, kind of. And I agree with that based on what we've seen. I think he's a really good downfield pass catcher. And as far as Jerry talking about DeAndre Moore, I'm reminded specifically of the catch from Arch Manning that Moore had at the end of the first half of the Mississippi State game. That kind of slot fade that they ran that was about a 50-yard TD right before half.
Yeah.
So there are big playmakers on this. I don't know if there's a defined go-to at this point. That's my Jaden Blue was definitely a guy. Isaiah Bond was definitely a guy. Matthew Golden kind of became that guy. Although Matthew Golden was a more well-rounded receiver, I think. I just don't know that the fastest player on the team is Ryan Niblett, right? But he's not really a receiver. So how do you get him the ball? Is he a boutique player kind of in the neighborhood of a Keelan Robinson was a couple years ago before Jaden Blue came on? Or is Aaron Butler? I mean, Sark called out Aaron Butler. Now he dropped the pass on Saturday, and that's been his issues, the 3 passes. But if he gets the ball in his hands and gets some confidence, can he provide a spark? I don't know. We'll see. We will see.
All right. Before we get to our last couple of super chats for the day, Bobby, I need you to tell everyone about Austin Underground one last time.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin Underground, our friend Rick Vavro has been helping Texas Austinites and Austin business for a long time over at Austin Underground. Since 2004, they have specialized in difficult underground commercial installations. They offer seamless communication, easy to work with, all of those things that you want for your company when you're dealing with big major projects. Again, that's Austin Underground. Rick Vavro, his team, Tony, those guys over there will do anything and everything for you and do it right. Also, they have a sister company called Texas Road, which handles major road projects from subdivisions to other opportunities. Give them a shout. That is Texas Road and Austin Underground.
Thank you for that.
I want to add, look, even Jack Injuries he had a 57-yard touchdown catch and run on Miami last year. Now, to be fair, that's the Miami defense. The only team that didn't have an explosive against them was Naples High, and that's because they run triple option. But still, Jack Injuries has that ability as a pass catcher in the tight end game, like Gunnar Helm did as well. So I think this wide receiver core tight, and remember, Nick Townsend can fly at a tight end position, like fly. So I think we're going to have more of that than we're expecting. I think it's going to be different, though. I think it's not going to come from the running back and the passing game this year is the difference.
That's a fair statement. That of all things you've said at this point or that we've discussed, I categorically agree with. Because Trey Wisner popped some big runs last year.
Yeah.
I mean, Oklahoma at but the passing game, popping the big plays in the passing game where Blue was he was such a difference maker.
Yeah.
Such a difference maker, in my opinion.
And again, even with Blue, he got benched pretty much for the Oklahoma game. So it's like guys you trust too. Ball protection. Guys, all these guys.
All right, we got a couple more here before we get out of here. This one from Corey B. He says, Jerry, Bobby, what do y'all think of Avery Johnson at K-State going to the portal? That's fake, number one.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that part of it. He's not going anywhere, at least not right now.
That was some troll account doing that. Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
I believe the person that made it said he's a graphic design student that got bored over the summer.
Okay,
so there you go on that. But he wants to know Santana Wilson, how's he coming along in camp? Hook him.
Battling in the, for one of those 2 deep spots is kind of where he's at. He's battling some other guys, and we'll see where it goes for him. But, some of these guys in that are going to have a little patience and continue with their development.
He's on the same side as Warren Roberson now. And Roberson is the backup for Manny Muhammad. And so Santana Wilson's next. On the opposite side right now, the rotation looks like this. It is Jalen Gilbo, followed by Kobe Black, followed by Cade Phillips.
Yeah.
So it's third team right now, and Caleb Chester is trying to make that even that a battle. So we'll see.
And our last one for today comes from Dante. Thank you, Dante. He says, is it realistic to keep both KJ Lacey and Diabell both on the roster after Manning departs? Does anyone on the roster have the Silas Bolden energy? That kid was lit every single time he made a play. Gonna miss him.
I'll take the second one. I don't think there's a guy that has the Silas Bolden energy, because that guy was a different level. That doesn't mean guys don't have fanatical effort, but there aren't many guys like Silas Bolden in life you come across. I don't think
There really aren't.
He's like a different. Like I'd say the same thing about Roschon Johnson from a leadership standpoint. To be able to lead a team as a college football team as a backup running back is so abnormal. You probably won't ever see that again. So I think Silas Bolden's energy was just different than Sir-Jabari Rice had a little of that in basketball at Texas. I will say that had a little bit of that to him, but you don't see it very often. I'll say that.
You like watching guys like Silas Bolden succeed because of their reactions almost. It's infectious. I mean, it's absolutely infectious. You like, and with Roschon Johnson, you said that, and that was the other guy that it reminded me of, and not because of Roschon's leadership off the field, because he's definitely a leader off the field as well as on it. But Roschon seemed to get charged up when there was contact.
Yeah.
So Silas Bolden seemed to get charged anytime the ball was near him. It's like they vibrate, you know. I don't know if there is a guy like that right now on this team. If there was, it might be on defense with Anthony Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, he's that kind of always on type of guy. I mean, Anthony Hill going 75% in practice is not that's my understanding. It's more, he likes to go 100, a lot, and we'll see. We'll see.
The first part's just impossible to answer right now.
Are you talking about Diabell and KJ Lacey?
Yeah. What you do know long term is after that competition, somebody will transfer out. That's what you know long term in college sports and college football. How that's going to play out, who's it going to be? No way to know.
All right, y'all. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode of Coffee and Football, presented by Rick Valvro and Austin Underground. We want to thank them, along with Gooder and Duck Camp, for sponsoring today's show. Bobby, what you got later today for folks?
We got a lot of stuff. We've got. We're actually going to talk about the tight ends today. Jeff and Jerry are going to be breaking down that. Good news there yesterday, by the way. Nick Townsend, and we forgot to mention this. One of the things that Steve Sarkeesian mentioned was that Nick Townsend was injured on Saturday during practice, but returned to the practice field on yesterday and had a full go practice. So did Nick Brooks, the offensive tackle. I think we failed to mention that at some point during the show because we've been so busy with a lot of different news and notes. But they're going to talk about the tight ends. The ascent, in my opinion, of Jordan Washington is a big piece of that. Then also we have a recruiting breakdown, and then we have the nightly live stream as well. We also have news and notes, as always, over on Texas Football. Jerry, I thought you had a great article this morning on Texas Football about 2027s that kind of, we all hear names as 2027 recruits. Oh, this guy, that guy. Jerry put out a list of guys that he's pretty sure Texas has already shown the level of interest in, that everybody needs to start getting to understand those guys. I thought that was a great article, Jerry.
Because high school a lot of school starts around the state today. High school football practice underway. So I kind of put out 14 guys that have my full attention in that 27. And that they won't be the only guys, but to start this season, I think maybe are the top tier guys at a few positions for Texas right now.
In state. In-state.
Yeah, in-state only.
Yeah.
And it's going to change. And so the fun, maybe the most fun about this business is seeing who continues to ascend from year to year.
And you heard the guys mention on TexasFootball.com. If you're not a member, sign up today. Use promo code OTFOG. You'll get a full year for just $39.95. That is a limited time offer. So you need to act now. Again, on TexasFootball.com, promo code OTFOG, and lock in 365 days for just $39.95. Well, we will be back same time, same place tomorrow. We hope you have an outstanding day today. So for Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton, I'm Blake Monroe, and we'll see you next time.